Welcome to Black Real Estate Voices podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Jefferson. Today, our guest is Miss Keyana Lawson. How are you?
I am good. How about you today?
I'm doing well. Keyana is actually spelled the way it should be spelled, in my opinion.
It is, and I tell people that all the time. Just pronounce it out and you can't go wrong.
That's awesome. So, Keyana, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I'm Keyana Lawson. I'm a real estate agent. I have been a licensed real estate agent since 2006. 2006, April of 2006 to be exact. Haven't always worked in real estate during that, 16-year time span. Got licensed in 2006, but didn't really focus on real estate. It was almost just, I got my license and didn't have a desire to sell real estate. So went to college, finished college, did my undergrad, then went to graduate school, got my MBA in operations management, worked a corporate job for years. And finally in 2015 is when I decided to focus on real estate. But overall, originally from California, came to Georgia back in 1996. I'm going to date myself. That would have been my freshman year of high school. So I've been in Georgia in the Atlanta area since 1996. Atlanta is home, but originally from the Bay Area, was born in Oakland, raised in a city called Pittsburgh, right outside of Oakland in the Bay.
Gotcha. Funny story. I'm not from Atlanta.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm not. I'm originally from Delaware. And I was at an event and I heard somebody say, "Oh yeah, that's in Pittsburgh." And I was like, "Oh, so they invest in Pennsylvania?" And then somebody was like, "No, it's a section of Atlanta called Pittsburgh." Yes. So then in that same event, there's like, "Oh yes, in Oakland." I was like, "So I'm assuming that's in Atlanta too?" And they was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, I didn't know. I had no clue." 2015.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting year to get into real estate. Yep. My opinion, for whatever it's worth, I think that's when the market began to change after maybe the 6 or 7 years of the downturn from 2008. Did you sell anything prior to that? Like, what was your sales like prior to you going full time?
No, so prior to me going, and really in 2015, I didn't even go full time. So prior to 2015, back in 2008, 2009, I got laid off from my corporate job. Mass layoffs were happening during that time as we were entering into the housing crisis. Just the market was down on every level. So I got laid off from my job, had a real estate license. I'm like, okay, well, let's focus on real estate. Of course, it wasn't that was the worst time to be trying to focus on real estate. During that time, I think I did maybe one or two transactions, but they were rentals. So it was individuals trying to get out of their properties, rent them out before they lost them. So I did 2 rentals, and it was just so slow and it was so challenging. I didn't have the mentorship that I needed. I just honestly did not know what I was doing. So that propelled me to go back to school. And fast forward to 2015 is when I made the conscious decision that I wanted to phase myself out of corporate. So that's when I refocused my attention back on real estate. And from there, between 2015 and about 2017, the tail end of 2016 going into 2017, I started to set small goals for myself. All right, Keyana, let's work to sell at least, I close a house a month. And gradually, as I was able to accomplish those goals, then I felt comfortable with, taking that leap of faith and phasing out of corporate, leaving a corporate salary and relying on real estate full time.
So you were closing a house a month and working full time?
Yeah. So in the beginning, no. So from about 2015 to 2016, to tail end of 2016, my focus was on learning. Because remember, I said back in 2009, I felt like I didn't have the mentorship. I didn't know what I was doing. So with revisiting that conversation of, okay, Keyana, let's get back into real estate, I understood what my struggles were, a few years prior. So let me figure out what I need to do to be successful at this, because I truly want to leave this corporate job. It's not a game, and I want to be successful once I leave. It's not a temporary fix that I'm looking for. I'm looking for something permanent. So from 2015 to about the tail end of 2016, it was education, education, education. The great thing is I had a flexible job where I pretty much worked from home. So I could go to different trainings, CE classes, different events, real estate events to meet people. Then I was on YouTube. It's like YouTube University is so much on YouTube that I was able to kind of lean in and just absorb and learn things. Back then, Periscope was a real big platform around 2016 ish, 15, 16 ish. So I was on Periscope big time, meeting people there, creating relationships there. Then ultimately going into 2017 is when I set the goal. Okay, let's do a closing a month. If you can do a closing a month through the year, through 2017, you can check up the deuces and walk away from corporate. And I actually did more than that. So top of 2018, it was like game on. It's time for me to give them my walking papers.
What do you think? What can you attest to you building up for that year, like to get you from, let's say it was 4 sales the previous year up to the one per month?
Right. What I can attest to it is just persistence, dedication, and consistency. I was very intentional and consistent with my daily activities. Made sure that I was having the conversations that I needed. I understood what the numbers look like on the back end for me to achieve the success, or at least on the front end to achieve the success on the back end. So I understood how many conversations I needed to have per week, and ultimately what that looked like per month. And of those conversations, how many of those did I need to convert to an actual client to turn them into a true client, get them under contract, and get them to the closing table. So it was very strategic with how I maneuvered through that process.
Awesome. So we were up to 12, let's say 12 sales in 2017, even though you surpassed it. 2018, was there an increase in business, decrease? How did that look?
Yeah, 2018 it was a increase in business. But 2018 I closed 20, I think it was 23 transactions by the end of 2018. Yeah, 20 if I'm correct. Yeah, about 23 in 2018. So yeah, each year my units, my production has gone up significantly.
That's awesome. When did we get into the Facebook ads?
So I got into Facebook ads, or I guess let's start with how did I learn about what a Facebook ad was. So like I said, YouTube University. So I was on YouTube just looking up all kind of real estate related stuff. And I ran across some videos on YouTube about Facebook ads for real estate agents, how to run a Facebook ad. In that it was a lot of information that was just overload that I didn't understand, but I recognized that for me, since I was working a corporate job, I didn't have a huge database. I didn't have a huge network of people that I knew that I can lean on to do business with me. Because as a real estate professional, the craziest thing is people that you know are the last ones to do business with you. So I couldn't really lean on them to help push me to the next level with real estate. So the next best thing was strangers, and how can I get in front of people that I don't know? And Facebook ads was that opportunity. That's where it would allow for me to truly get in front of people that I didn't know, show them my expertise as a real estate professional. and kind of take it from there. But YouTube was the starting point of that. Just watching different videos, finding different people that catered and taught YouTube from a real estate perspective for real estate agents. So that's really where I got into it. It was a lot of trial and error. A lot of those individuals were charging for you to learn, and they were charging big money for you to learn. And at that time, it just wasn't in the budget, 2015, 2016. So it was like, okay, I'm taking little nuggets from their small classes and then going and running my ads and just trial and error. My first few ads, well, more than few, a lot of ads was a waste of money and a waste of time because I didn't know what I was doing. But ultimately, gradually, I kind of figured out the process, the flow, what things meant, why this needs to be done so that this can happen. And here we are today, where I'm teaching my first real estate Facebook ad class soon.
That's awesome. So your background was organizational leadership, right?
No, so my background was operations management.
Operations management, okay.
Yeah. So I come from my last corporate job was in supply chain management. So I worked for corporation, Kimberly-Clark Corporation, and they worked in the space of, when I initially started working for them, we were healthcare, consumer goods. So your Cottonelle tissue, Huggies diapers, that was on the consumer side, those big brands. But for me, the sector that I worked in was professional, which we handled the stuff that you see in your washrooms at your local restaurant, at hospitals, dispensers, the paper towels, the safety gear, so PPE. We kind of worked, that was our product base with our distributor partners. So yeah.
So your background wasn't necessarily in like technical or IT or anything for you to start the Facebook ads?
No, not at all. And I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine the other day, and I was basically ahead of the class. I'm getting her ads up and running so that we can get her results and publish them at the class. So between now and the start of the class, and as we're going through her class, she was like, wait a minute, like, I almost feel like we're coding here. And I'm like, I guess technically it is coding to a degree, but no technical background. Always had an interest in technology, but no formal training in technology, no.
Got you. Before we dig into how it works, how it's helped you grow your business, my question to you is, while you were on YouTube University, what made Facebook ads stick out? Because I'm sure they also had information on YouTube ads and maybe at the time Instagram ads. So what made Facebook ads stick out to you?
I think at the time, Facebook ads were, to me, it seemed like it was easier. I was always on Facebook. I know I did have an Instagram page back then. However, I didn't, I wasn't on it. I wasn't as active on Instagram, and definitely wasn't active on YouTube in the sense of having a YouTube channel, having an audience. But I did have, friends, old classmates, old coworkers that I was connected with on social media on the Facebook side of it. So I think that's why I chose Facebook, because it was a little more attainable for me to achieve, knowledge on Facebook. Because Instagram, honestly, I don't even think when I first started doing Facebook ads, Instagram was connected to it. You couldn't. So right now you can I can set up a Facebook ad that will run simultaneously on Instagram for the same ad spend. Back then, I don't think that was the case. They were not interconnected at that time. So yeah, I think that may be the bigger reason why it just wasn't an option.
Got you. Mm-hmm. Your first Facebook campaign, tell me what that looked like.
Oh, dang. First Facebook campaign. I think when I first started doing it, I was boosting. Everyone says if you're taking a Instagram or a Facebook class and someone is saying, yeah, boost this post so that you can get these leads and all that, they don't know what they're talking about. You're not boosting a post. So when you're a boosted post and a Facebook ad are two separate things, two separate segments of, I guess, of marketing, but they're not interchangeable. So I think initially I was boosting posts. I had my Facebook business page and I would just boost a post thinking that I was doing something, but I wasn't getting any success because in reality, the only people that were seeing my boosted posts were people that already liked my page, or if I reshared it to my profile, my personal page, then of course those people would see it. But I think those ads were, or those posts, because they're just posts that you're boosting, were probably talking about took this client out for a showing or some pictures at the closing table. There just really was no substance to them. It was just like a post, a normal post that you would see in your feed. If you have a business page, you can boost it to get it in front of more people by paying a couple of dollars. But there were no true results. There's no way to track it.
Which campaign did you start seeing actual leads that you could track?
Absolutely. So the first campaign that I ran, which is still, it's a campaign, so it's different. There's layers to. Have you ever run a Facebook ad before?
Not successful. Not successful.
But you do understand what the back end of it looks like with it, because you're saying some terminology that tells me you know something about it, because you're saying campaigns and stuff.
Yeah.
So my first ad campaign that I ran, I was like, Keyana, you finally cracked the code. You figured it out. Was in 2018, the top of 2018. I ran a Facebook ad campaign centered around 100% financing, a 100% financing program. And in the ad copy, I talked about 100% financing, what you would traditionally pay for a FHA loan with 3.5% down on, say, a $300,000 purchase. But with 100% financing, it would totally remove that. And then I also had a little blurb about if you have high student loan debt, we have options of working around that as well. And that ad, that is my holy grail ad, because I can run that ad right now. It's on pause right now. But if I unpause it, the leads just come in. They come in like crazy because people they don't want to put no money down with their purchase. However, a lot of those people that interacted with that ad gave me their information for that ad. Hold on one second. I have a call coming through. Gotcha.
All right, let's go. So real quick, for our listeners, what is ad copy?
So ad copy is the actual verbiage, the content within within your ad. So say you were making a post on Facebook and you're typing out, enjoy Jeff's party this past weekend. We celebrated with his family and friends. That's your copy. On a Facebook ad, we call it ad copy because that's the content, the text that you're going to include within that ad that is hopefully engaging enough to get people to stop and read what it is you have to say and take the next step for whatever it is that you're offering.
Gotcha. So how do I decide what ad copy I want to run?
For anyone in any discipline, in any space, on the real estate end, you're in mortgages. So what are the main conversations you're having with people on a day-to-day? What are their struggles? What are they coming to you? What is the pain point? If you can find a solution to that pain point, that is your ad copy. So
Okay.
like one of my most successful ads that I've run was an ad about 100% financing. I specifically ran that ad because I noticed that the more often than not, the conversations that I was having with individuals that wanted to purchase was they didn't have all of the down payment funds. So I was very purposeful with understanding with all of my lender partners that I do work with. I'm that agent that I'm on the phone with them, asking them 50 million questions, loosely understanding the mortgage process from beginning to end, understanding what the requirements are, so that I could create ad copy that spoke to that consumer that was their pain point. So that's how I choose. That's how I select how I'm going to write an ad is what are the conversations? Who's in my inbox on Instagram or on Facebook? Who is in my inbox and what are they asking me? What is the predominant questions that I am being asked? And that's how I determine what ad I am going to put out and what that content looks like, the context of that ad.
Got you. So I figure out what the client's pain point is, and that's the topic of my ad.
Mm-hmm. But you're going to dumb it down. And I hate to say that, but for lack of a better word, it is, you're going to present them with an option that resolves that issue. Now, it may not resolve it for all of them, but there's going to be a nice number of the people that actually respond to your ad, provide you with their name, email address, and phone number, because at the same time, you're building an email list as well. You're building up your database by bringing these people in. Some people may be ready in that moment. They have the credit requirements to do what they need to do to qualify for that 100% financing. They may have their closing costs, but just not the down payment, or we can negotiate closing costs with the seller or the builder, whoever's whatever type of transaction they're entering into, to alleviate as much of the financial costs that come with the home purchase. But just understanding that pain point and how you as the professional can resolve it and how you can put it into writing so that it makes sense to them, to cause for them to engage with you regarding it.
Gotcha. So how do I even start it? Like, where do I go on Facebook to start an ad?
Yep. So in order to run a ad, you must have a Facebook business page. A lot of people think that they can run an ad through just their Facebook personal page. But no, you have to actually have a Facebook business page set up. Once you establish that Facebook business page, then you'll have access to be able to actually run a Facebook ad through what is called Business Manager.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So is setting up my Facebook business page the same as setting up my personal page? Do I use my personal page to set it up? Is something separate I have to sign up for?
Yes. So you do need a personal page, a personal Facebook page, in order to be able to set up a Facebook business page. So you cannot have a business page without having the personal page, because it's an extension of your personal page, the Facebook business page. But once you go through the steps to actually set up the business page, that opens up the opportunity for you to be able to run those ads, to boost the post. And there's nothing wrong with boosting. Every now and again, I may boost the post just for social proof, just to have something getting in front of people, because I do have a lot of followers on my business page. So if I have a closing, I may just boost that. Or if I'm out showing some properties or there's a new community, I may boost that particular post. But when I'm really in the mode of I need to build my my database, I need to have X amount of contacts before the month ends, then I am actually running an ad on a high level.
Okay. So once you have the business page, is it difficult to set up the ad inside of whatever you said was Business Manager, right?
To set up a high performing producing ad, yes, it can be a little challenging if you don't know what you're doing. But just to run an ad, I don't think it's hard at all. With just running an ad from beginning to end, I think the more challenging aspect of it is setting up your business manager to make sure you have certain things set up that make running an ad make sense. So you want to make sure your pixel is set up, your Facebook pixel. And for those that don't know what a pixel is a tracker. So say you are on you're on a Foot Locker website and you're looking at some Jordan 1s in blue and gray. You fall short of putting them in your cart. However, you go onto Instagram and you scrolling and those shoes pop up in front of you from Foot Locker. You're on Facebook, those shoes pop up in front of you. You're on another website that has ads on their website. You see those shoes pop up in front of you. That's because that particular Foot Locker has a tracker, a pixel that is following your movements on social media, and they're putting that item in front of you because they want you to come back and purchase those shoes that you almost put in your cart, or maybe that you did have in the cart but you never checked out. So you want to make sure your pixel is set up, and then you want to make sure that you have your conversion set up in your ad manager, business manager account through Facebook, because those are tools that will help you retarget those same people. The goal is, not only do you want to curate the list of people that clicked on your ad, that gave you their information, that set up an appointment with you, but for those people that may have that clicked it but didn't give you anything, you want to be able to follow those people around so that they almost feel like you're stalking them. I get calls all the time. I see you everywhere on Facebook, on Instagram. And oh, you do? Okay, perfect. It's working. Because I say I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but I'm really not. I'm only on there working, but on a personal level, it's all business for me. On a personal level and just posting all willy-nilly, it's not really my thing anymore, because I'm focused on the business side of things right now. But I still get calls saying, I seen you here and I seen you there. Your ad came in front of me. So I know it works. So that's really what your intention is you want to be able to retarget those people and ultimately turn them into a customer or a client.
Random question. Now I'm saying, thinking, when I'm playing Scrabble Go and I see ads pop up, are those Facebook ads or is that something different?
It may not necessarily be a Facebook ad. It may be a Google ad, or something like that, but it still has the same context surrounding them on why the ad is popping up. It's because you were targeted. You fit something in that profile that advertiser set up, whether it's they're going after people that are playing that game, whatever game you just said you're playing, they have in their profile a gamer. We want this ad to get in front of a gamer, or we want this ad to get in front of a mortgage loan officer or a mortgage broker. You can really target your ads to a specific segment of individuals. Now, as real estate agents, loan officers, mortgage brokers, not so much. We can't get as deep into it as we used to be able to get into it due to fair housing laws that we cannot violate, but there's still enough targeting that we can get very specific with who we want to see our ad, who we want our ad to be in front of, and who our ideal client is.
Okay. And that was going to be one of my next questions. Like, how do we tell who that goes to?
Yeah. So, as a loan officer, who are your clients that were easy peasy, easy breezy to work with?
Truck drivers.
That's your ideal client. So you want to make ads and put them in front of truck drivers. Make sure you're doing posts showing that I closed this truck driver. Are you a truck driver? I've closed X amount of truck driver loans for truck drivers in the past 18 months. And run those ads and target it to those truck drivers. What do truck drivers do in their spare time, so that you can kind of be able to really narrow down that demographic and target appropriately to get in front of those people.
Okay, cool. This sounds expensive. Like, how do you tell how much money it's going to cost you? Is there a set fee? Like, let's talk about that portion.
Absolutely. So it can be expensive for running ads. It just depends on what level you're running them at. For me personally, for all of my ads, I spend anywhere from $5 to $10 per day on an ad.
Starbucks.
Exactly. That means I have one less meal that I can eat out for the month, or maybe a pair of shoes. I'm not going to buy a pair of tennis shoes, some J's or something. I can, remove that, but for the greater good, it's worth it. Okay, I couldn't get these tennis shoes this month, but I made $10,000 or 12, 15,000 because all I need to do is close one deal to pay it back. Not even really pay it back, to pay for 2 or 3 years. With just one closing. So for me, my budget for ads is about $250 per month, anywhere from $250 to $300 per month that I spend on ads. So that's my marketing budget, basically. My marketing budget is about 300 tops per month. And all I need to do is get one person under contract and closed, and it's more than paid for itself for the year. From 2018 through, from 2019 through 2021, the top of 2021, my most successful ad that I ran got over 3,000 leads from that. So I built my database, added 3,000 new contacts to my database. And these are actual contacts: name, phone number, email address. A lot of them were not ready in that moment when I acquired their information, but a nice amount of them were, and we got them to the closing table. And from 2018 through the top of 2021, I spent shy of $5,000 from that period. For that, it's like an 18, 19-month period. I spent shy of $5,000 in ad spend.
Wow. So let's talk about
less than one closing.
That's less than one closing. Yeah, for sure. Especially in this market.
Right.
Exactly. All right. So first thing, I have my messenger, my Facebook manager set up. I'm ready to run the ad. I'm setting my budget. How long did it take you to see results? How long do you think it typically would take before you see results in terms of getting actual leads? Like, what determines that?
Right, great. That's a great question. So for me personally, I only start ads on Thursdays. I start out of all of my ad campaigns on a Thursday because I've learned over the years that it takes about 24 to 48 hours for, I guess, the algorithm, for my ad to start to get traction and get put in front of people that it's targeted towards. So if I start on a Thursday morning, ideally by Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, my ad is in full swing. It's getting in front of the right people. And by Saturday night, Sunday morning, where everybody's just scrolling, you're laying in the bed scrolling at nighttime, on the weekend, going into Monday morning, that is when I get the most traction on my ads. Is during that time frame. So that's why I always like to start them on a Thursday, because once that traction starts to happen, Facebook goes into overdrive, because now they've identified this is the person, the type of person that we need to have your ad in front of, because these people have engaged at a high level over the weekend. Now we're going to find people that look like them. And when I say look like them, not physically look like them, but look like them in the background on their activities with Facebook, because Facebook is tracking everything that we do. They're finding that lookalike audience, that lookalike person for you to put your ad in front of. So that's where you get the most traction. And then you start to see your ads kind of take a life of their own and do what they're supposed to do.
Okay. I have my ads running and I'm getting a decent amount of leads. Of course, we know with anything you do with leads, everybody's not going to be ready, like you said. What type of system do you have, or do you have a system to follow up?
Yep. So follow up is key with this. You can, and I've failed at this miserably in the beginning. When I first started running that ad and it was doing numbers, honestly, I got overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do. I'm like, it's too much, it's too much, it's too much. So I would pause my ad, get caught up, then re-trigger it, and the leads would come in. But I didn't have any systems in place, which I got 3,000 contacts added to my database. However, of those 3,000 contacts, if the people, so how my ads are set up to make this make sense is the ad copy. So the actual ad that you see on your feed that says sponsored, it'll say sponsored on your timeline. That's an ad. That's a Facebook ad. Or on Instagram, if it says sponsored, it is an ad. What I would do is they'll click the link. It'll take them to a landing page with a form where they have to include their name, phone number, email address. And then I'll give them whatever I was offering. So with the 100% financing, the offering is you need to schedule an appointment with me. So I captured their information. A link to my calendar was on there. They clicked the link and they made an appointment. All 3,000 people, of course, did not make an appointment. So I only focused my attention on individuals that made an appointment to actually speak with me. The rest of them kind of fell to the wayside, sitting in my database, because I felt, well, hell, if they were interested, they would have made an appointment. If they were truly ready to go, they would have made an appointment, which wasn't necessarily true. Because now as I go back through my database and I'm making contacts with these people, oh, we bought a house 2 years ago. So it's like, damn, Keyana, you missed that opportunity because you didn't treat everyone the same. You should have, the care that you gave to those individuals that actually set an appointment, you should have also given that same focus to those that didn't necessarily set an appointment, because they did raise their hand. Their hand was raised. It's just that you didn't take them serious. So having a follow-up system in place is key, because you have to be able to convert these leads. You can't just say I got 3,000 leads and I didn't convert any of them, so it doesn't work. No, it works. You don't know how to convert a lead. So that's one of the things that I'll be teaching in my classes. Okay, you got the leads, now what? Wow. Are you converting them? What is your touch? Or you got to put them on a 36 touch? What does that look like? Do you have the proper CRM, the proper tools and resources within your brokerage or within your office, within your business, so that you can properly follow up with these people?
Okay. So that's great. They always say the fortune is in the follow-up. How many calls did it take for you once they said, hey, Keyana, we purchased a home, for you to figure out what you need to do to touch everybody who raised their hand?
Look, I'm gonna be frank with you. I'm still not all the way there yet, just to be 100% honest, because it's a lot. It's just me. I don't have a team. It can be a lot. However, going into 2023, we're going to change that, because I don't want to have those. It's going to happen, but I don't want the frequency of those conversations to be abundant. That, oh, we've already purchased. It's like, oh man, and you start calculating. Okay, well, damn, how much money did I lose this year for people that I didn't follow up on? Those opportunities, missed opportunities. So it's something that is still a challenge for me to a degree, but I recognize that it's a challenge, and I'm working to put things in place to make sure that as my new leads are coming in, they're automatically being put on the campaigns. It's just now me going back into my database and slowly but surely getting those other contacts on campaigns after I've made the calls to see, are you still interested in purchasing? Have you purchased? Because then if they have, they go into a different bucket. I can still reach out to them because they're going to become a seller at some point. And hopefully they use me to sell, since we couldn't work together on the buy side. But it's different conversations that are had depending on what stage that particular client is, or future client is in, or will be in the next, in the future. Because some people sell after 2 years, some people sell after the standard 7 to 10 years. It just really depends. Got to stay in front of them.
So you mentioned that you run your ads on Thursday. You start your ad on Thursday. How long do you run it? And when I mean how long, you specifically mentioned like Thursday through Sunday when they're scrolling and looking. Do you stop it on Sunday or do you let it keep going?
No, it's going to keep going between Thursday and Monday morning, Monday, Tuesday. So like today, this morning when I got up, I did go into an ad that I did start running this past Thursday just to see what the results are. What have the results been? And if I see that I'm not getting because this was a new ad, especially with this one, this was a new ad that I was running with a different copy, a different topic. So I pay more attention to those when I'm kind of going outside of the box just to see how much money have I spent thus far and have I gotten any leads from it? If I'm looking at it and I don't see that I've gotten any leads, my phone hasn't rang for them, because sometimes people will bypass an ad and just ring my phone. Like on Saturday, I had a random person call me like, yeah, I seen your ad on a 1% down program. I wanted to get more information. They totally bypassed the ad and just called me. So for this particular ad, I saw that it wasn't giving me the traction that I wanted. So I paused it. I need to go back into the ad and see where I went wrong. What adjustments do I need to make? Is my demographic, is the targeting off a little bit, that I need to make some tweaks there? Is the ad copy, the content of the ad, is that off? Is it not speaking to the people? Is it not resonating with them? Or I may just outright just shut it down altogether and not make tweaks and just start over. But to answer the question, if an ad is doing what it needs to do, it doesn't get shut down. I will keep running it until either I'm too overwhelmed with leads coming in and I'm busy with work. So I may pause an ad, and it's truly just pausing it. You can hit pause, the ad will stop. And when you're ready for it to start back running again, you just hit unpause and it opens it back up and it starts where it left off.
How many deals have you closed from Facebook ads solely?
So I haven't tracked my numbers for 2022 yet with the closed deals that I've done, but from 2018 through 2021, I closed over 36 deals just from Facebook ads. Solely from those. These were buyers that came from me from Facebook, buyers and sellers, because a lot of my clients are sellers / buyers. I may run an ad for a buyer ad. However, a lot of my deals are 2 deals. Oh, by the way, we need to sell this house so that we can buy this house, and we want to use that program. So yeah.
Wow. Definitely got your investment back.
Oh, absolutely. More than, yeah. So that's why I don't mind spending most ads I'll spend $10 a day, because I know it's going to bring me the leads. With me spending $10 a day, I can guarantee at least 5 to 8 appointments a week on my calendar. Wow. Of someone saying, hey, I saw your ad. I want to talk more about what it is, this particular program, or talk about whatever the ad copy is. I want more information.
Gotcha. So we've talked about how you got from start to where you are now. Kudos on the first class. I'm looking forward to it. Can't wait for it. But you make it sound easy. Right? And I want to make sure that our listeners understand some of the pitfalls that you could run into and some of the grit that you need to continue. Because right now everything sounds rosy and peachy, right? But I want to give them some of the real. What are some pitfalls you ran into that made you was like, girl, I'm done with this mess?
Yeah. So some of the pitfalls, and I was on a call. So I have a Facebook ad account manager that I have a straight path into Facebook. When I have issues with my ads, I can set up an appointment for someone to call me so that we can kind of work through why are my ads getting rejected. So that's one of the pitfalls. is you can be, especially if you're a real estate agent or you're in a subcategory that deals with housing, credit, and I think there are like two or three other categories that are considered special ad categories that are protected, that protect individuals when it comes to advertising. So for real estate, mortgages is fair housing. You guys also credit, but ads getting rejected because it says that you have violated some type of fair housing, or your ad is discriminatory. And I'm looking at my ad like, I mean, dang, all I'm talking about is a 100% financing program. How is it discriminatory? So it's an algorithm. It's I guess a robot in the background looking at your ad copy, looking at your imagery, looking at your targeting parameters, and it's either saying this is good to go, let's push it forward, put it in front of people, or it's going to stop it dead in its tracks and say, nah, there's a violation of some sort. So that's one of the bigger things that became a big issue for me, is like not understanding where did I go wrong with my ad, because Facebook won't tell you. It'll just say your ad was rejected because of discriminatory, and say, please review these, I don't know, these rules. And it's like a big book of rules. And it's like, okay, but what's wrong with my ad so that I can fix it? So not knowing where you went wrong so that you can make the adjustment. So that's the not so pretty part of running Facebook ads. The comments, you got people that jump in your comments to try to downplay what it is you doing. Like, you running 100% financing, you got somebody in the comments saying, oh, that's not real, or, you know, just giving their opinions about something they have no idea about. So kind of trying to ignore the comments, deleting comments that give false information, other agents jumping in your comments, trying to take your leads because somebody may say, hey, I'm interested, give me more information. And you got another agent in your comments saying, I can help you. How are you on my ad in my comments telling somebody that is interested in my ad and I'm paying money for, that you can help them? So stuff like that, just unethical things like that can be discouraging.
Wow. So you're doing all the work and you got people trying to say you're a scammer or hijack your clients.
Son, you're a scammer. Like it's like the stuff that some people come up with. And I think that's a big thing too when you're running ads. So like for this class that I'm getting ready to have on the 20th, one of the things that I'm doing to prepare those that are registering in a timely manner is, please make sure that, one, your Facebook business page is set up, and go ahead and start making posts on that business page. Because what a lot of people will do, because there is a lot of scamming that goes on just in the world in general. But when you're dealing with the real estate space, you know, you have a segment of individuals that do scam. So a lot of people are going to go to your business page. They're going to go find your personal Facebook page. They're going to go find your Instagram. They're going to Google you. They want to make sure you are who you say you are. So starting ads, just creating your Facebook business account today and then turning around today and running your first ad, that can become problematic for the consumer because they don't see any social proof. They don't see that you close deals because you haven't been active on any platform for them to be able to go and search and, you know, to research you. So that's imperative that you make sure that you are engaged on your business page as well as your personal page when it comes to real estate related topics. So that people can do their research, because they're going to Google you. They are going to Google you.
For sure.
Yes.
I am a realtor. I am looking to grow my business. I'm being challenged right now with growing my business. Why should I do Facebook ads? Or how do I determine whether I select Facebook ads or I just go the traditional way of calling my sphere?
I say Facebook ads, and because this worked for me personally, it grew my database, hands down. It was the quickest way for me to grow my database with the least amount of money. Like I said, I spend $5 to $10 a day. You have the option to set a budget, a defined budget that I only want to spend 75 bucks, 50 bucks, 25 bucks. I only want to spend that amount of money for this period of time. And once those funds have been exhausted, the ad will automatically stop. Me personally, I don't like to put a cutoff on my ads. I like to keep it open. Now, I may set something in my calendar that says, okay, Keyana, on this day, go ahead and go and pause the ad, because I want to make sure that with the $5 to $10 a day that I'm spending, that I get every piece of that every day. When you start putting a cap on your dollar amount, if it's 25 bucks towards your last 2 days, you may be at 19 or 21 bucks of $21 of that 25. So the last day, you're getting the least amount of traction because your $25 is almost depleted. But when you keep it open, you're going to ensure it's almost likely you're going to get access to $10 worth of ad spend and get that amount of leads that should be attached to that ad spend. So for me, on a daily, maybe 3 to 5 leads or that are going to actually click. And then maybe 2 will actually set an appointment. But that's how I determine. So if you're starting out, for me personally, Facebook was the quickest way, the cheapest, because you don't have to spend thousands of dollars just to get the leads to come in. $100 is sufficient. You can spend $100 just for the month and you're going to get ads. You just have to be ready and prepared to be able to convert those ads. Reach out to those people as you collect their information. If you have a CRM that allows automation, start automating things, triggering certain activities, triggering phone calls, text messages. Just stand in front of those people, because the first is speed to lead. So you want to get in communication with that party within minutes of you acquiring their information. But on the back end, it takes about 7 contacts communications before that person may even respond to you. I got some people that will completely pay me dust, don't say nothing. And then out of nowhere, they're calling my phone.
Wow. Mm-hmm. All right. So what are 3 things that you wish you had in the beginning of your Facebook ads that helped you manage the leads?
In the beginning, I wish I had a better system in place with collecting the leads, because initially I was using Facebook's form. So with Facebook, with their ads, you can opt to use a lead form that's built within Facebook that will automatically capture the leads information. So I don't know if you've ever been on Facebook and you clicked on something, or even on Instagram, and you click on it, and then it'll ask you, do you want us to pre-populate your Facebook information? I used to do it that way, but then I learned the hard way. Well, most people got a fake name on Facebook, it's Pookie, just some crazy nonsense. And then that comes across my CRM as a contact. I'm like, okay, who is Pookie? What is Pookie's real name? Or even Pookie may even schedule an appointment to talk to me. So I'm on the phone. Hey, can I speak with Pookie? Like, so you got crazy names. So removing that aspect of it and creating landing pages. So to push the lead to the landing page, my own personal page that I can control the input of information to ensure that I get real names, not your nicknames and all of that stuff. And then I have systems in place like Zapier that send, if this activity happens, then this is going to occur. So I have different zaps and automation set up that really just kind of remove me from it. I just have to take the action to make the phone call or send a text message, but emails are automated. It's just when it's time for a phone call to take place, of course, I got to pick up the phone if it's time. Well, even text messages are automated as well. It's just my only interception is phone calls. That's it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So a way to obtain the form,
Right.
proprietary
How you're collecting
form.
the data.
Yep.
Yeah. So how you're collecting the data, that's one. Two, something that I wish I knew from the beginning was that that less is more. And that is not about you as the real estate agent. It's not about us, especially when you're trying to get clients. If I had knew that in the beginning to focus on the customer, then I would have been so much farther, much quicker. Sure, it's okay to do posts about you, what it is, how you service your clients, but the focal point needs to always be about the client. So I think understanding that sooner could have gotten me to where I needed to be much quicker. And the final thing is just having patience with learning. For me, I like to explore things. I don't necessarily wait for someone to show me or tell me how to do something. If it's something that I'm interested in, I take the initiative and take the lead to kind of figure it out. So I think when it comes to this space with growing your real estate business, I would say as a newbie to real estate, or even just as maybe a seasoned agent, but this Facebook ad stuff is new to you, take the initiative to learn. There's so much information on Google, on YouTube that will take you step by step on how to do what it is that you need to do. But if you don't want to take those steps, you can just come to my class and I'll show you.
Which is a perfect segue for our ending our podcast.
Yes.
For anyone who would like to get more information on classes that you're offered, depending on when they hear this, your class on the 20th may be gone. How can they reach you?
Absolutely. So I can be reached on Instagram at Keyana Lawson, Keyana Lawson. That's my handle on Instagram. Anything that I may have going on will be linked in my bio. The class that's on the 20th, if you are in the metro Atlanta area, the class on the 20th is going to be a class that will step you through my exact process on creating Facebook ads. From beginning to end, you will actually leave the class with a Facebook ad running. It's going to be up to you on how to convert them. I am going to have extensions of that class to show you guys what my process is in terms of automations, how I track my leads, all of that stuff, just how I stay as organized as possible. And then I'm in the process right now for those that are not in the Atlanta area that cannot get to the class in person. The goal is before the year ends to have this same class virtual. So doing a virtual option for agents in other cities to be able to take part in the class as well. But Facebook is a wealth of information. Instagram is a wealth of information. YouTube is a wealth of information. And our clients are sitting on these platforms. We just need to learn how to connect with them.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Keyana, this has been awesome. It's been great information. I appreciate you taking the time out to talk to me and our guest. This is Kevin Jefferson, your host. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.